funds. The man who founded internet giant Amazon.com is now buying one of the largest names in American newspapers. Billionaire Jeff Bezos has struck a deal to buy the Washington Post and other newspapers for $250 million. The deal came as a complete surprise. The Post, like most newspapers, has been losing readers and advertisers to the internet. Bezos said last year that he was certain there would not be printed newspapers in 20 years. And analysts already are speculating on how Bezos might help the Post make money. The sale came just 2 days after the billionaire owner of the Boston Red Sox bought another newspaper giant. Businessman John Henry paid $70 million for the Boston Globe. That's a 93% drop from its price of $1.1 billion 2 decades ago. Pat, it's interesting to see how the mainstream media, other media members are treating the Graham family for selling the Washington Post. I wrote about this on my Facebook page, but I want to get your take on it.
Well, I sat next to the heir of that family dynasty during Reagan's funeral, and he's a real nice guy, but their focus right now is on Kaplan, it's on education, where they're making some money, but they saw the handwriting on the wall. Print media is just like a dinosaur. It's going out. You know, you wait and get the morning paper, but by then you've already watched 3 or 4 channels of news. If you're on the internet, you've got all the stuff coming across early in the day. And so what does a newspaper tell you? It's got sports, it's got fashions, it's got local news, but they've got to come up with some different formula. But it is interesting that the big icons of liberal media, the New York Times, has taken a huge hit with the Boston Globe, a huge hit, 93%.
So why does an investor buy something that he says is on its way out?
Well, they see some niche in there. Bezos is a very clever guy, and he's got some way of monetizing it. What it is, I don't know. I mean, he didn't call me. I don't. But you know, it's funny. I was talking to our news producer today. A few years ago, we had a channel here, Channel 27, in Tidewater, and Katharine Graham was interested in buying it, and so she came down. And this little guy was with her that I didn't know anything about, and so we were having dinner, and she was sitting next to me, and so I spent all my time talking to Katharine Graham about, the Post and their journalistic feeling and so forth. It was very interesting. And this little guy at the table didn't say a whole lot. Well, his name was Warren Buffett, and I wasn't aware that I was in the company.
Pay attention to all your dinner
guests.
That's
right, of the world's greatest investor, but he was a big player in the Washington Post. He's been buying, by the way, some little dailies. He's got a bunch of Virginia dailies. He bought a whole string from the Richmond Times-Dispatch, I believe it was, or the Richmond newspapers. So they've got some way of figuring all this thing out, but whatever it is, it has escaped me so far.